Hello, welcome to the program Big Talk on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimba, your host. Big Talk is a program that comes to you every day from Monday to Sunday on this platform. We are being watched on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Of course, we are going to look into national issues, and the program provides that opportunity for us to invite personalities to be with us in the studio where they help to analyze issues that will be discussed. For those who are taking time to watch us right now, wherever they might be, I want to tell you this edition is going to be a very scintillating one, and I urge you to stay tuned. I have with me in the studio a respected politician and Nigerian, a lawyer by standing, in the person of Senator Itai Enang. Senator Itai Enang, to my own understanding, has been a politician right from the time he graduated from school. And made to understand that at a point he was a councillor, he graduated to become a chairman of a local government, even to the state, and then finally found himself in a National Assembly, and then became the senator. You can imagine the chain of his movement politically to where he stopped. In fact, he was even appointed at a point to become the special advisor to the President of National Assembly Matters when Buhari was there. That was the last appointment I knew him with. Today, he is a lawyer by standing and a consultant who knows much about National Assembly constitutional review, and that's the more reason why we decided to invite him to be with us in the studio to explain more on certain issues that are quite very salient and important to most Nigerians. It's a pleasure having you on the program this evening. Big Talk, Senator Itai Enang.
I welcome myself to Big Talk, and Topsy, who has been quite long, we haven't connected, so I thank God that one event connected us to meet, and I'm happy to be on your program, and particularly on Global TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. You are one person I came to know when I finally assigned to cover National Assembly in 2007 as a reporter. I met you and you gave me your number. Since that time, I collected your number, has been the number you've been using. Most people don't do like the way you do. Some people have so many numbers. After a long while, they change. You call them, they don't pick. You are equally one of these persons. When one calls you and you notice there's a missed call, you call back, and I appreciate that greatly from your own side as a Nigerian.
Thank you very much. Let me tell the public that I have one aide who is trying to take school sets. He doesn't even have school sets, but he has 5 numbers. A domestic aide. 5 numbers. You know, so I think there is this craze, and I told him that it is a criminal tendency. So I maintain one number from beginning till now, because there is nothing you want to ask me that I think I have question indecent to answer.
That's very interesting. Yes. And like that, I just pray so that you become a governor one time in your state.
God will do what he wants to do because he chooses when he wants to, whom he wants to use at a particular time.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've been a very strong member of the All Progressives Congress, APC.
Yeah.
And I don't know your standing now, but of course, you know, 2027 is very close. People are really preparing. Those who are actually aiming to become whatever they want to become, they are either remaining in the party they are known with, or they have left to join another political parties, and these big wigs are moving from one place to another, and Nigerians are completely confused. It is on this note that we felt it was important for you to come and explain to us. Just 24 hours ago, we were told that indeed the former president, in the person of Goodluck Jonathan, paid a visit to the former president of the president of David Mark, and people are really confused. Or what reason did he decide to do that? Is it for alliances that are being formed, or is it to strengthen political discussion, or is it you just want to ensure that 2027 is something that you want to negotiate to become?
Former President Goodluck Jonathan is a global citizen, and his role is to make sure that he balances the polity and makes sure that there is calm and candor in the polity. The fact that he was a former president does not mean that he doesn't have friends and he shouldn't visit friends. If a former president or president doesn't visit friends or shouldn't visit friends, then how does he survive? If friends don't visit him, then the people and politicians will be afraid of retiring. So they shouldn't retire. They will be afraid of retiring because you won't have friends. President Goodluck Jonathan is my friend. He has other friends. In office, I used to visit him. And even after office, we've had good cause to relate, you know. So the fact of visiting David Mark doesn't have, in my opinion, I am not speaking for him, but I do not know anything formally and informally that has linked him with any political party. And his relationship with any person shouldn't be seen as that of having political connotation.
Yeah.
Now, Goodluck Jonathan, former president, was vice president when I was in the House of Representatives. While I was in the House of Representatives, he became acting president. While I was in the House of Representatives, he was sworn in as president at the demise of
Yaradua.
President Yaradua. God bless his soul. After that, he contested 2011 election, and won and became president for the second term. And I contested and won to the Senate. So while he was president, I was a senator. And while he was president, David Mark was the Senate president. So for him, for Goodluck Jonathan, he was number one citizen. Sambo was number 2 citizen.
Yeah.
And David Mark was the number 3 citizen and president of the Senate. They had and maintained a good relationship. And their relationship was not just out of party or within the party. So he has a right to visit any person. He's been visiting other private citizens. He's been visiting the president, vice president. He's been visiting Tinubu. He's been visiting presidents of other countries. He's been attending social events of persons showing his relationship with people, that even after office, he attends burials, he attends weddings, he attends social ceremonies, he attends coronations, he attends events and gatherings intended to put party together or to put people together or to bring peace to any particular situation. So this visitation to David Mark, in my opinion, and to the opinion of all reasonable-minded persons, does not show any political affiliation with, speaking quickly, ADC or any other political party or any coalition. Okay,
let me ask you this pertinent question, Senator Ita-Enang. You are aware that, of course, of recent, we noticed that political bigwigs, particularly from the north, are really calling on Jonathan. You read that on social media, even on the pages of newspapers. Sometimes some will appear on national television like the way we are, and be talking about Jonathan really coming up to challenge Tinubu in 2027 presidential election. And it's quite very unpredictable whether or not he's actually listening to these voices calling on him to come out and indicate interest to contest. Now, when you see fire, when you see smoke rather, there's fire really burning. And so if the former president is seen to be paying visit to David Mark, and David Mark is one of the staunch persons of the newly formed coalition that's called ADC, although the party has been existing anyway, but they have found themselves as political heavyweights in the party. That's Africa Democratic Congress. To visit him, it shows that probably they are trying to connect or do some form of alliance or see how best they are going to actually persuade him to become a candidate during 2027 general election.
I have answered that he is visiting the former Senate President, former Governor of Niger State, and distinguished Senator David Alechenu Bonaventure Mark. It's not a sign of any political affiliation. And of course, you say that they are trying to drag him to come in and contest the presidential election.
That one is well known in the domain.
Now. I am APC, and we will be very glad if they succeed in convincing him, former President Goodluck Jonathan, to come onto the ballot for any party. We of the APC will be very happy. Because
why will you be very happy?
We'll be very happy because any party that feels Goodluck Jonathan has not contested the election. So all we do is we can even go to one customary court. Although the Electoral Act does not allow us go to customary court, we will go to the Federal High Court and just declare and just seek a declaration that that political party has no candidate.
Why saying so?
Because President Goodluck Jonathan is not allowed again by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to contest presidential election or any other election.
Why?
He's been a deputy governor, he's been a governor, he's now president, he's been a president, acting president, vice president, and president for 2 times. Now, the Constitution of Nigeria says that nobody can be sworn into any executive office, either governor or deputy governor, twice. And the Constitution particularly states, and I get this clear. Get this clear. As advisor to the President on National Assembly matters, I was instrumental and I was party to the amendment of the Constitution in 2018, when we took the Constitution forward, when we transmitted the Constitution to the President for assent. And President Buhari assented to the amendment of the Constitution, which says that if you succeed, if you are a vice president or a president or a governor, and you succeed the president or you succeed the governor, either by virtue of the death of that president or governor, or the resignation of that president or governor, or such circumstance that arises, and you succeed him and you take oath, you can only contest the next election once, because you have taken oath of president. So Jonathan became first-term president in 2009 when he was sworn in upon the demise of President Yar'Adua, as he then was. Now, Jonathan was doing his second term, was going for his second term in 2011 when he contested for presidency. So even in the 2015 election, Jonathan was not qualified to contest that election. He wasn't qualified. But since there seemed to be doubt, since there was to be doubt, now, yes, he could, yes, he could not, yes, he could, yes. In 2017, the process of amendment of the Constitution to make it more explicit started. And in 2018, it was amended, and all the houses of assembly endorsed that this is what will apply to a governor who succeeds. I don't like using the word principal, because a governor is not a principal to the deputy governor.
Okay.
A president is not a principal to the vice president.
Okay.
I think we want this to be understood by Nigerians, so that we have it clear. You are a vice president, you are a vice president. There are jobs reserved for you, and such others as will be assigned by the president. Now, let me leave that. Now, if you succeed in such circumstance, you are doing, and you are sworn in, you are doing your first term by virtue of that succession and that swearing in. When you contest a second time, like Jonathan contested in 2011 and finished in 2015, he was no more entitled to contest that election. I remember that after being advisor on National Assembly, I was reassigned by President Buhari as an advisor on Niger Delta affairs.
Yeah.
And I know that in 2022, some adherents and former ministers of President Jonathan wanted to bring him up in that election. They came to me in my office at the secretariat in Maitama and asked me of that provision and that amendment to the Constitution. I brought them the raw copy
of.
Yes, I showed to them, which is in my legislative library, which is in my official library, is in the library, and it is published everywhere, that this is the amendment of the Constitution. And they went back. 3 of them were ministers. 1 of them was a businessman working closely, and the others were advisors. There were about 11 of them at different times. Some were party leaders under the Jonathan administration. Some were party leaders in the PDP at that time. So I brought them up to speed with the history of the amendment, the issues involved, the argument in the Senate and the argument in the House of Representatives, the matter passing through the the constitutional amendment process on the floor, the matter passing to the Houses of Assembly and being agreed to. So this is what I did, which made them agree that it was not advisable for Jonathan, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, to contest the 2023 election, because he has done his first term from 2009 to 2011, and did his second term from 2011 to 2015, and is no more qualified.
So I was just thinking maybe this doctrine of necessity that was pronounced then at the demise of Musa Yar'Adua.
The doctrine of necessity was doctrine of necessity for since the constitution or the law was not clear that if the president is not available in circumstances that are not clear, as it were. I remember much of what I went through under Bankole as speaker, and I was chairman of Rules and Business, and I drafted several versions of motions that whether to make Jonathan president or to make Jonathan act as president, make Jonathan to act as in the state of president. I had 9 or so versions of draft, which was not easy to pass through the eyes of the leadership of the House of Representatives, because there were several factors that were at play at different fora. You know, we were like encircled in the House of Representatives. So it was in this that we now say the constitution in this area is not clear. The law in this area is not clear. The fact of this situation of the whereabout is not clear. The what to do in circumstances is not clear. Invent doctrine of necessity for the purpose of making Nigeria have a leadership.
Okay.
And that is what we did with the Senate, and which enabled the inauguration of, which enabled the action to be taken to allow President Jonathan to act as president. And not too long, there was news of the passing of the Musa Yar'Adua.
Oh, okay.
So this was the doctrine of necessity. It didn't affect this kind of situation.
Oh, okay. We're just waiting to see, because we still have enough time to 2027.
Yes.
Whether or not the interpretation of what you have just said, based with the constitutional amendment on how things are supposed to be done, whether he will be allowed or not, we'll wait to see. But of course, by implication, you're simply saying the visit he paid to David Mack, just mere visit like any other person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That leads me to.
And the next election, is going to be President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and APC versus all of them, because in terms of performance, in terms of everything, in terms of stability of the party, and in terms of the instability in other parties, which they have inflicted upon themselves, you know. So it is when they have inflicted this kind of situation, which does not allow voters to have confidence in those political parties, and they know that they will not be able to stand election, then they want to create situations that when they feel somebody, the person will not be qualified, and there will be issues, and they will go to court and say, oh, this APC. Strengthen your party. Do what is right. Look for credible candidates. Look at zoning. Look at issues that makes people, you know, vote, that makes people want to vote and keep voting for APC. Look for how you could puncture those issues if you can, which you cannot. Based on issues. Don't be based on whipping unnecessary sentiments, or they voluntarily create a situation of instability so as to say that it was APC that is putting hand in their gari. Putting Sansan in their gari.
Sansan in their gari. So that leads me to asking you this question. You've been in National Assembly, and I remember in your time, really, the number of times you were there have been series of these constitutional amendments.
Yes.
And one wonders, this amendment of the Constitution by the National Assembly, where has he really taken us to? I see it as a conduit pipe for some other persons, not necessarily for the interest of Nigerians. As a matter of fact, we have just concluded a kind of constitutional amendment meeting with some selected members of the House of Representatives, I understand, either in Sheraton or Nikon recently.
Nikon Hilton.
That's it. Still on issues relating to constitution. We've been doing that. Nearly every assembly that comes on board will have to make that matter to be a very serious matter. At the end of the day, the assembly terminates and nothing will really happen in a way
that's not correct.
Okay, explain to us.
Constitution amendment is necessary when there are issues that requires consideration. Whether that issue will succeed for the purpose of leading to the amendment of the Constitution, but that issue would have come up for consideration and people would have been heard.
Yeah.
The last time we got the issue of reserved seat bill for women, it was attended to, but it didn't pass. And it was thought that it remained a little, it would pass. And to have that, you need amendment of the Constitution. So it is appropriate for the 10th Senate and 10th House of Representatives to initiate that Constitution amendment. And of course, Constitution amendment is not done as a matter for the just like that on the floor. A Constitution amendment proposal originates by way of a bill by a member, and we send members of the National Assembly to make laws for us. And so when a member brings a bill or any matter which is not amendment of an ordinary law, just a simple a bill or just an act of the National Assembly, and will require an amendment of the Constitution, then you refer it to Constitution Amendment Committee for consideration. You have Constitutional Amendment Committee because the Constitution amendment is not like every other bill. It is a bill that when it will pass in the floor, in the Senate, it has to go to the House of Representatives. It passes there. Then it has to go to the Houses of Assembly in the state. So you have to take all this along. So it's a special one. Then, okay, in the last time, then we have problem or challenge in the power sector in Nigeria. Now, but this problem of challenge in the power sector was solved, or is capable of being solved, by deregulating power, by making it that it is a matter in the concurrent list. Before the last Constitution amendment, it was a matter that was in the exclusive list, handleable, can only be handled by the federal government. Now the state governments can, the federal government can. Now that made I'm sure with that amendment, you've seen that Enugu State is trying to play big in the power sector. Akwa Ibom State, Friday week before last, I wish I'm correct.
That's your state.
In my state, my governor Omoino, convoked a power summit where he invited the Minister of Power in the country, invited the Managing Director of Royal Electrification Agency, invited the Transmission Company of Nigeria, and then lay before them the power roadmap of the state. And each of these persons from the federal made their contributions on how they will assist the state come up in the power sector. I was also there because under the President Buhari, a power project, transmission project was given to my block, including that will transmit up to Arochukwu, but it will cover about 8-9 local governments in the state and will discharge power that is in Itu, to other parts of the state. Now, I also had to be there at the invitation of the state government. Now, before the amendment of the Constitution, you couldn't have had that kind of thing by a state because it would have been said that it was. But the essence of amendment.
This thing with just to decentralize it without any efficacy in the system.
No, we're not talking about
that. But that's not my discussion.
The discussion of the Constitution amendment.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that
I'm particular about this amendment when the reserve seat for
it's not only reserve seat.
No, I know it has taken the shine in most media organizations
because of the level of mobilization.
Yes,
women.
Yes, it's similar to the issue that people have been
creation of states.
Yeah, state as well as having
local
state
governments, local state police.
Now the question here is, I look at it as a ploy by these highly placed politicians who want to use their wives, their daughters, their kinsmen to now take over the seats in the National Assembly or either at the state level. Because at the end of the day, when you are talking about reserving seats, it assumes as if my wife or my daughter can easily access that particular opportunity. It might not be. because they will say it in a open as if it's a thing that will actually work for all of us. But then when it starts being operational, some people take over it and make it to be their personal property.
President Tinubu, he will not allow such a thing.
But if he leaves,
no, but it has to be operationalized under him first, in the next administration, in the next election.
It has become a law, not only when he...
No, it hasn't become a law yet.
I know it has become a law then, if he has actually assented to it and then work like the way you are saying it. But you have a particular period of time to live.
When there is anything that is wrong in any law that has been made, you have an opportunity of revisiting it. No law is permanent. Only God and even the world is not, even the earth is not permanent.
Yes.
You know.
So I see.
So the laws are not permanent.
I see this procedure, or either the processes to say constitutional amendment as wastage of funds.
No, it's not. What do you ask your legislators to go and do? Is to make laws. And the constitution, in the course of making laws, they will need to come back to you by way of public hearing. I'm sure it is the way of public hearing, public people traveling to Abuja, people traveling to the zonal public hearings, and staying in having hearings and the logistics of it that concerns you. But you know, in the course of making any law, that law will affect you. And in that law affecting you, you have to be called to make your input. If they call you and you can't go, you can't make your input. You can make your input through the social media, or you can make your input by any means.
Senator, are you not concerned when late President Buhari assented to some of these issues? They call it Electoral Act 2022, where it allows the use of modern technology in conducting election in Nigeria, so that at the end of the day, we need not to suffer manually to get whatever we want to get. But at the end of the day, when we put it into tests in the last election in 2023, did we see it working? At the end of the day, results were being announced. Even the INEC chairman was even asking people, is there overvoting? Overvoting using beavers?
Now, that is not a matter in the Constitution. It's a matter in the Electoral Act. We should try to draw a distinction. By providence, I am one of the consultants at the National Assembly on the amendments of the Constitution. I also work for the House of Representatives and even the Senate. I've attended their retreat in Lagos and here on the amendment of the Electoral Act. Now, there are matters that are in the Act, but there are matters that are so serious that for you to be able to treat it under the Electoral Act, you can't amend the Electoral Act. You must go to the Constitution to amend it about elections. Now, most of the things you are talking about are matters that are contained in the Electoral Act, not in the Constitution. So
It's an affiliate.
Yes, I agree. But I want Nigerians to have confidence in the electoral process. And I was on a forum the other day, and I had to say that there is something about artificial intelligence and the effect of the social media. Whenever anything goes viral in the social media, people believe it more than the truth. You know, that the electoral umpire, the chairman of INEC said this, that there was this voting, that there was overvoting, that there was a next result, that there was something about beavers. Let us draw a distinction and honor between what is real, what is practicable, what was done, and what were used by the fringe political parties and the political party that lost election, and the political party that lost election, but they had the loudest voice. APC didn't have a loud voice. PDP didn't have a loud voice. Labour had the loudest voice. You understand? And people seem to believe them, whatever they generate. And whatever they generate goes very far. I give them a lot of respect. And I want to say of Labour Party that whatever is their name now, whatever they are, but those gentlemen that handled the Labour Party publicity, propaganda, and they are as good as the Biafran propaganda machine, as it were. When even when the war was being lost, we had somebody in my state that was called Okoko Nwatakpo and all that. When he speaks, it will be as if the Biafran situation government has torn Nigeria and driven them to the River Niger, and the Atlantic is too small to bury the Nigerian
soldiers.
The Nigerian soldiers. You know, so that is
the kind of approach that they use,
the power, the drive, the push that the Labour Party did. And so that is why I respect President Tinubu for being able, for identifying those talents, and we should identify more of them and bring them to our side. Again, I have opportunity of relating at the academic level so much, and in my relationship at the academic level, when I am of the opinion that when you see such talents, even if they take money from your account, even if they do something odd, don't jail them, draw them nearer, take them to the office of the National Security Advisor or any office, or where we do the IT capacity building, and get the ideas from them.
How they are managing.
Because they are brilliant.
Yeah.
Those boys, those guys, those men are very brilliant. They are very talented.
Yeah.
So Nigeria has to respect them. So whatever they did, not that we should believe them, but they got to the point of being believed. Even the courts were almost confused by what they generated. I respect them. So Nigeria should use them.
Distinguished Senator, look at the coalition. Though I know you, I don't know where you belong. Whether you are a member of a coalition or are still within the APC, because I've seen members.
Before you go far, I am APC. I know. Pure, clear, and direct. I can't go to any coalition, because the coalition is for those who don't have political parties.
But there are members of the APC who have left to join the coalition.
Then there are no more parties of the APC. There are no more.
No,
and some of them are there as on espionage. Some are on a missionary journey. Some are there to study situations. Some are there to feed back a particular system. Some are there to weaken them.
So all these noise we are hearing, they can't go anywhere.
I will not. It is Nigerians when they vote.
I'm only seeking your opinion.
When it is time to vote, Nigerians will vote for APC.
Okay.
Because if you vote for some of the parties, they won't have candidates. If you vote from some of the parties, they don't have executive. If you vote from some of the parties, they're in dispute, left or that. So you better vote for a political party that is already on ground, that is in government, that is managing the economy. Challenge we admit we have challenge, we bring it out what the challenge, we show you what we want to do, you all contribute, Nigerians will vote for that party.
Okay. Distinguished Senator Itaina, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we conclude the program, and I enjoyed discussion with you as a matter of fact.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes,
thanks for Global TV.
Yeah, it's a big talk we're talking here, and of course my guest is Itaina. We're taking a short break. By the time we return, we face the matter squarely, and then we'll draw the curtains. Welcome back. Big Talk on Global TV. Watch us on DSTV channel 365, start time 276. My name is Topsy Gimba. My guest is Senator Itai Nang. He is a lawyer, a politician, an expert in the Nigerian Constitution, sitting with me in the studio to analyze issues that are quite very interesting and germane in the society for those who are watching us right now. We have been on calls, and there are questions that are there lined up for me to ask Senator Itai to explain basically. One of the major things that this administration has so far done is the issue of the tax reforms. There were 4 bills that he assented to become acts of a National Assembly. What are they all about?
Well, these 4 bills called the revenue bills are basically to establish the Nigerian Revenue Service from the former Federal Inland Revenue Service, and there were the Giant Tax Board, which has also been renamed. There were other major Petroleum Tax Act and all that. They have all been consolidated into a set of legislations called Nigeria Revenue Bill, made into 4 laws yet. There are a few more that may be pending in the National Assembly, which, let me use the opportunity to ask all Nigerians to give a lot of respect to the intellect of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is one thing important, is that he did this in Lagos. You call him taxman in Lagos. He used his system, his team, to raise revenue in Lagos. Not just tax, revenue from several sources. And as president, he has brought that innovation to the country, you know. And let me also commend him and commend the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and indeed the entire Nigeria, for the way they managed the tax bills in the National Assembly. Because the tax bills nearly divided this country between the North and the South, when Senator Ndume raised the issue that it was going to disenfranchise the North. And then there were the whole matter was brought back to a big table, and they discovered and said and concluded. The governors were consulted, they were brought on board, and they had their consultants, and they all came and agreed that there was no such thing in the act. And the only thing I want to blame the Tinubu administration and the handlers is that when these matters were now discovered to be not to be true, and then they went on to pass the tax laws, they did not make it a big issue to give explanation, and then to make it a big issue that question was ill motivated. The matter was ill motivated,
but
and you know, and it drew in the governor of Borno State, and it sought to draw in the vice president into it, but it was well managed, and all of them were disentangled. Right now, I'm sure you've seen the effect of the tax bills, the tax act. When the Tinubu administration came in, we used to have the revenue for the country used to be between 500 and 600 billion. Month before last, it was 1.8 trillion. Last month, it was 2.3 or 2.2 trillion naira revenue into the country. And you will agree that all the governors have what to show, because there is enough money from the federation account for them to use, thanks to the ingenuity of the tax laws of the Tinubu administration. And there is a lot of competing. The non-oil revenue competes very seriously with the oil revenue and has exceeded the oil revenue. But for me, as a lawyer, as a legislator who has been participating in making many of the laws, I want to say that there is not much of what you can call non-oil revenue in Nigeria. If it is non-oil revenue, it is oil-dependent revenue.
Okay.
Because when you say that there had been importation and we collected stamp duty or VAT or tax, what did they use to import? The money from oil.
Yeah.
When you say there is export, what are you exporting? Crude oil.
Yeah.
And then you say the money that you are getting from that tax, that revenue, that
oil.
excise is not oil. It's not. It's oil dependent. It's oil. So we should draw attention.
Oil becomes the bedrock.
Oil becomes the bedrock, and we're not even talking about tapping the solid minerals. We're not tapping the agricultural potentials. So I want the Tinubu administration, I want our government, as much as we're doing about the oil revenue, about the taxation, about improving revenue, to go back to agriculture, so that we don't have need to import food, so that our people are not hungry. Because no matter how much money we realize internally from non-oil, from oil, and generate so much money, when the stomach is hungry, they say,
hungry.
Yes, they say the rich cannot sleep because the poor is awake because he's hungry.
Now, you simply made a point by saying that Senator Ali Ndume made an observation on that particular.
It wasn't an observation; it was a very serious. That dragged the country into a very serious
debate.
Not debate, a very serious dichotomy, which threatened the unity of the country.
Are you saying?
And after that, when we came out of it and discovered that it wasn't true, the federal government did not make very serious points about it to correct it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, distinguished. It wasn't as if not for the fact that he said it, and I think this particular, those particular bills, as they were, must have gone into some kind of tinkering. You tinkered of them.
They were tinkered, but those areas that relates to this allegation,
and because of what he said, because of what he said, that brought about the tinkering of some of these sections. Otherwise,
no, all I'm saying is that
it wasn't him alone at the end of the day. When he mentioned that so many of these lawmakers from the north supported him, and even people outside,
then they later came to discover that it is not true. But the federal government, and the handlers of the president and the presidency and the media, the media of the president did not make issue out of it. Issue to the fact that what we said were not correct, and that this is the correct situation, and that this situation, as the bills are passed, it does not affect or reflect what was alleged.
Are you saying now with the passage, now that particular or those particular bills have become an act, have they started implementing on them?
Yes,
that you feel we are generating more money from the revenues?
The implementation is officially set for January 2024. But there are elements of it that are being implemented in honor, and that has generated much revenue to the country.
So the money that governors are getting, one was really thinking whether the removal of subsidy, therefore there's more money.
The removal of subsidy has brought in more money to the federation account to the country, and so brought it to the federation account to be shared among the 3 tiers of government, and has made money available, although it has made quantum of money available with a challenged value, because there is something like volume of money, value of money, and the strength of your currency. We've had volume of money, but their strength, value, purchasing power, and parity with other currencies are challenged. I wouldn't. It's not zero. It can't be. It's challenged.
It's challenged.
That's why when you say that we've increased salary of workers to 70,
because I was asking why do we have protests?
You will. No. I didn't support.
What do you have? Because even this electricity we're using right now in the studio, we would have suffered, or the management of the station would have suffered in buying diesel to run, because
which is costlier
because the workers in the what do you call it, in the electricity sector, we are almost going on strike until they prevail over them before they suspended that idea.
Yes.
So if what you are saying were to be true, then why are we not getting results by benefiting not just the government getting more money, but ourselves are not seeing anything on the table?
Well, the one thing is important. You are seeing more power, but at a higher cost. That's correct. It's more available, but the cost is high. So, and it is the effort that are being made to change the situation that is going to bring more value and more benefit to Nigeria.
And that leads me to what I was asking you, where we said decentralizing from the exclusively to concurrent, where the state and federal government they coexist in this NEPA or in this power supply, whatever. Even at that level, you still see problems upon problems coming out. Nigerians or villages are living in darkness as if they have been taken over by wars. That's the situation. But it has been decentralized even to state governors, but nothing is showing.
Now, it is the state governments are not yet taking it as part of their responsibilities. And I want to say, like I said earlier, government like Akwa Ibom state government has taken it up. That is why we had the Power Summit, which I told you, I told the audience that I participated.
So what's the situation at home now?
Now, the power situation at home is well managed. It's integrated between the federal and the state. And why I attended was to draw attention and to work with the governmental system in the state to know more that this 2 number 40 by 60 by 230 MVA is going to add more power to the state, and so that they could use that in planning their the state infrastructure and consumption of power in the state. So that's the advantage. Mm-hmm. Before now, but for the amendment that makes power to be in the concurrent list, which allows the state government to play in the power field, we wouldn't have had that conference. And anything the state would have needed to do, they would have needed to seek the permission of the state government.
Okay.
But now they don't need to. I mean, they would have needed to seek the permission of the federal government. Now they don't need to, because you establish, do your grid, and so on, share in our grid, buy our power, pay it. There is the bulk purchase agency, there's the NBET, and so on. All that were brought to the table, and each of them showed their functionality and their relationship with the different parts of the state. And for once, the state government established the Ministry of Power to work with the Ibom Power, working as a parastatal under it. And then they have a synergy. And the program chaired by the Deputy Governor made all their recommendations and handed over to the governor, which is now up for implementation.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Before I let you go, the single senator, Itayena, before I let you go, let me ask you this personal question.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the next move for you in terms of seeking any elective position in 2027?
Thank you very much. I am available, and I'm available, and I'm available, but I will not speak. All I want to say for now is that I will support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I will support Mr. President and the Vice President. We've all worked together, and with the Senate President, I will support my governor, Governor Umar Basieno, for the second time. I think that is what you want to hear.
Yeah. So
thank you very much.
Let me just ask you this question before I let you go, sir. Tell the viewers right now how you are received in Akwa Ibom, or your district, zonal district, your senatorial district.
Oh no, I'm not in the senatorial district matter again. I am in the state and the country.
No, what I'm saying, tell us the reception. Tell us the reception.
It is awesome. It is admirable, it is warm, it is appreciated, and I am now used as a parameter to measure succeeding representatives at all cadre. Okay. Please let me not go too far.
I know.
Thanks for having me in your program.
I know.
Thank you very much.
I really want to appreciate you, sir, for taking time to be with us. Yeah. It's not easy to track you.
I apologize for all the time that we've tried to schedule to be here, and honestly, it wasn't easy.
You know,
we are contributing on many parts of the country.
Sure.
In many aspects of the country.
Sure. As young then I was as a reporter in National Assembly, I contacted you to see whether you were able to come on radio. You gladly accepted, just like the way you did to be with us today on Global TV, big talk as you are being viewed. I must appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
You are easily accessible, and I appreciate so deeply, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Let me feel you.
Thank you. I feel you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, the global community. watch Global TV always.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So just a little one. That's the way it's supposed to be. Big talk on Global TV. My guest was distinguished Senator Ita Inang. Ita Inang came in here and explained his position, the way he understands how things are in this country. And I believe those who took time to watch understood basically his points. We shall be doing that again tomorrow with yet another personality. I really appreciate him and the way he presented himself on this program. My name is Topsy Gimba, sitting in for my colleague, Obong Usoro. Don't go away, news comes your way soon after this program. Stay tuned.